Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us on this weekly podcast here in the Elevate class. This is our junior and senior high class where we meet weekly to discuss the Bible, back to the basics of the Bible, back to the basics of who God is, back to the basics of His plan for our lives. And so we appreciate you being with us. Hope that you gain much from these weekly podcasts, and we're so glad that you're joining us. Welcome into this last podcast in this series. Today we're talking about the age-old question, who are you, Lord? And we have looked at the life of Saul of Tarsus, who had a dramatic experience and his life was changed. And so he asked Jesus that question, who are you, Lord? So we've been looking at it today. So a few questions for you, our audience, and we'll start with the first one. So Saul had what we call this Damascus Road experience, where God came with a bright light, knocked him off his horse. He had this experience and he knew this is a God moment. And so someone come share with us what is a Damascus Road experience? When we say that, what do we mean? What's the meaning behind an experience like Saul's as a Damascus Road experience?
It's like it's a turning point in your life where God meets you somewhere and you realize that you need to turn your life around.
Very well said. And does God desire everyone to have this kind of experience? Mm-hmm. Even people that are already know God and love God. That was Saul's case. He knew God in a measure, but everyone, because God's not willing that any should perish. Thank you. So Saul asked, Lord, who are you, Lord? And what was the response? Somebody come tell us.
He said, I am Jesus whom thou art persecuting.
All right, so God revealed himself to Saul. Saul was going in the wrong direction, persecuting Christians, those followers of Jesus. But out of his love, God showed Saul, hey, I'm Jesus. I'm the one you're persecuting, and gave him the chance to turn his life around. Do you remember the second thing that Saul said back in return to that? He said, I'm Jesus who you persecute. And Saul said,
what should I do?
What do you want me to do, right? And isn't that a question that we all should ask? That's kind of the next part. Whenever we have an experience with God, what do you want me to do? And if we ask that, it opens a door for God to lead us to do incredible things, just like Saul, who became Paul, did. He wrote most of the New Testament, and any Christian alive today is reading his books and being edified and helped, all because he said, what do you want me to do? Thanks, good answer. All right, so we wrap it up with this. Saul had this extreme experience where his life was changed. And for most people, what is it that changes their lives? God gets their attention, but then they have this experience that just changes everything. What is that experience for every Christian? We call it a something experience. Anybody know and remember? Hint, hint last week. All right, give it a try, Jack.
You mean to be born again?
Absolutely. Absolutely, yes. To be born again. Ananias came and prayed for Saul that he might receive his sight, and at that point he was filled with the Spirit of God, and that's the pattern all of us as Christians follow. That born again experience changes your life, just like it did for Saul. So thank you, Jackson, and thank you everyone who's tuned into these podcasts. We trust that they have been a blessing and a help to you. And so if you're asking that question, who are you, Lord? Pray it sincerely, and God will reveal himself to you just as he did to Saul, and it will change your life. If you want to know more, find our information, connect with us, and we will look forward to great things that God's doing. Thanks for being with us. God bless.
Hey, thank you for joining us in this week's episode. We're looking forward to seeing you, whether in person or online, next time.